When Melissa stood in front of the mirror, humming softly as she folded dresses into her suitcase, you would have thought she was a teenager preparing for prom. Her smile was wide, her movements light, and for the first time in months, she looked genuinely excited. The only problem was that her excitement wasn't for me or for us. It was for her so-called weekend trip with the girls. I leaned against the doorway, arms crossed, watching the way she tossed her heels in as if she were heading off to a celebration. She caught my reflection in the mirror and offered a grin. "Don't look so serious, David. It's just a girl's getaway. You'll survive a couple of days without me. Just a girl's getaway." She said it like it was nothing, but I knew better. I had seen the late-night texts, the sudden secrecy with her phone, the way she tilted the screen away if I happened to pass by. I had noticed the perfume she never wore around me anymore, the gym memberships she suddenly cared about, the new lingerie tags hidden in the trash. Still, I played along. "Of course," I replied, forcing a casual tone. "I even helped you out. I got your suitcase from the attic." She didn't notice the slight edge in my voice, too wrapped up in her excitement to hear the warning beneath my words. She zipped the suitcase closed, patted the top, and sighed with satisfaction. "Perfect. This will be such a good reset for me." A reset. Another word that stung more than she probably realized. I had been trying to reset our marriage for months. Date nights, conversations, even counseling suggestions. All brushed off as though my efforts were inconveniences. But now, suddenly, she needed a reset that didn't include me. When she left the room to grab her phone charger, I crouched down and replaced the suitcase with the one I had prepared earlier. Same color, same size, but the contents were entirely different. Instead of her carefully chosen outfits, mine carried evidence she couldn't explain away. Photographs I had printed from the private investigator's files, receipts from hotel rooms she had shared with him, screenshots of her messages, and, most damning of all, a small envelope with his name written across it in her handwriting. I had spent weeks gathering it all, not because I wanted revenge, but because I needed clarity. I needed to see the truth in front of me, not just feel it gnawing at my gut. And now she would see it too. When Melissa returned, she barely glanced at the suitcase I handed her. She was too busy adjusting her hair, texting someone, smiling at a message she didn't bother hiding anymore. She wheeled the bag out to the car while I followed behind, silent, carrying her purse like a dutiful husband. "Thanks, love," she said as she slid into the driver's seat. "Don't wait up for me tonight." I nodded, kissed her cheek, and shut the door. Watching the taillights disappear down the street, I felt something unexpected. Not rage, not sorrow, just calm. Because I knew what was waiting for her when she opened that suitcase, expecting a weekend of passion and lies, only to find her entire double life laid bare. Back inside, the house was painfully quiet, but it no longer felt suffocating. For the first time in years, it felt like my space again. She would call, she would scream, maybe even beg, but the truth was already packed neatly for her to unpack. And once she saw it, there would be no pretending, no excuses, no gaslighting. The weekend she thought would free her would be the one that broke her. Melissa didn't call that night. Not once. I went to bed expecting the phone to vibrate with her panicked voice on the other end, but the silence stretched until morning. It wasn't until noon the next day that my phone finally rang. When I answered, the sound of her voice was unrecognizable, ragged, frantic, on the edge of breaking. "David," she gasped. "What is this? What did you do? Where are my clothes? My things?" I let the quiet linger before replying. "What's in that suitcase is everything you thought you could hide from me. Consider it a mirror, Melissa. For once, you get to see what I've been seeing." Her breath hitched. "You went through my phone? You hired someone to follow me? That's insane." "No," I said evenly. "What's insane is planning secret weekends with someone else while pretending I'm the problem. What's insane is smiling at me while writing love notes to him. I didn't create this suitcase, you did. I just packed it for you." For a moment, all I heard was muffled sobbing. Then came the excuses, pouring out in rapid fire. She was confused. She needed space. It wasn't what it looked like. But every excuse collapsed under the weight of the evidence she had already unzipped with her own hands. Finally, her tone hardened. You can't just end a marriage like this. We need to talk. We need to fix it. I almost laughed. You ended this marriage the moment you chose him. All I did was make it impossible for you to keep lying about it. By Sunday evening, Melissa was standing on the porch, suitcase in hand. The same suitcase that had left our driveway full of her excitement now returned heavy with her shame. She looked smaller somehow, her posture slumped, her confidence gone. "David, please," she whispered when I opened the door. "I made a mistake. A stupid, selfish mistake. But we can start over. I'll end it with him. I'll do whatever you want." I studied her, the same way I used to study her when she was the woman I trusted most in the world. But that woman wasn't standing in front of me anymore. This was someone else. A stranger who wore her face but had destroyed everything she used to mean. "I already started over," I told her. "The moment you drove away, I decided I wasn't going to carry your secrets anymore. That suitcase is yours, not mine. And so are the consequences." Her eyes widened. "You're leaving me?" I shook my head slowly. "No. You left me a long time ago. I'm just finally catching up to the truth." The tears returned, but they didn't move me. Not this time. I stepped aside, letting her wheel the suitcase back into the house. Not because she belonged here, but because I wanted her to see the emptiness she had created. Every corner of the home was the same, but everything between us was gone. That night, she slept in the guest room while I lay awake in hours. Not because I was angry, but because I was strangely at peace. The mask had been ripped away, the lies exposed. There was nothing left to question, nothing left to fight about. And as the hours passed, one truth settled over me. Sometimes the most powerful thing a person can do isn't to scream, or to beg, or to cling. It's to pack the truth so tightly that it cannot be ignored, and then to hand it back to the person who needs to see it most. Melissa thought her weekend trip would be her escape. Instead, it became mine.